personal responsibility, decided to build a refuge for needy Masons and their families. In 1842, Brother Greenfield Pote placed $1 on the altar at a Grand Lodge session, and by the following year, 100 Masons signed a memorial calling for the creation of a Masonic Hall in New York City and an asylum for indigent Masons, their widows, and orphans. It was more than 40 years later that Utica was chosen for the site for the Masonic Home. The founders of this facility wanted more than was currently available and refused to accept that existing facilities were good enough. The Masonic Home would be just that, a home. The first building was dedicated in 1893 and soon sending them to Utica Public Schools. He saw the need for and supervised the construction of the Charles Smith Infirmary and the opening of the Daniel D. Tompkins Chapel, which still stands today. The construction projects which followed the opening of the chapel in 1911 were dedicated to the orphans who were the main concern of the Masonic Home during the first half-century of its existence. In December of 1923, the trustees purchased 472 acres surrounding Round Lake in Oneida County. It was on this site that they established a summer camp for the children of the home. In the following years, more property was purchased at Round Lake, and more buildings were added to the Utica site. The original Wiley Hall, built in 1927, was a dormitory for boys. It was the last major building project to meet the needs of children at the home. As social welfare programs developed, there the Masonic Home was transformed and became more and more dedicated to the care of elderly Masons and their wives. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, the Masonic Home continued to build successive generations of trustees have instituted thoughtful and long-sighted improvements to benefit humanity. Many of the original buildings were raised to make room for structures that could better suit the facility's changing needs. The oldest buildings still in use on campus include